Okay, Candy, you got to share your cookies. You have to share your cookies.
Oops. I agree. If you can't be here, that's too bad.
Yeah, you lose out.
Too bad, so sad. Yes, ma'am. Oh, God. What?
Double
That
chocolate.
doesn't sound good. No, thank you. I'm good. Such cookie. That just sounds horrible.
Really?
All right.
Chocolate is my fruit source. It's one of my,
The double chocolates were really good.
I didn't move the contrary. I think I was good.
Oh, I didn't. All really good points. I think it's a good discussion.
I do too.
Yeah, really good discussion.
I just thought it was easy. It's my teacher and I thought, I know what to do when a kid does this. I said, well, that's why I made this for you.
True. Okay, well,
Well, we
Or-
still have 7 minutes.
So the meeting Friday was in person, because I'll come in person
both,
too.
it's both.
Well,
Oh, okay, it's both.
I didn't realize that till they sent that out today and I saw the room too. Because I prefer meetings in person. I don't like Zoom.
Too. You know, it's nearby.
Close.
John.
Yeah. It's pretty warm outside. You can make your own.
No, still do.
I do too.
I'm so sorry.
There's nothing to apologize about. It's one of those.
Sneaky in there, so.
Did we, have any changes or anything that I need to be aware of?
And there was one sheet of paper that was put down for M and E that got left out of the
Okay.
Board.
the action plans.
Is that me?
Plan is. A lot of. Yes, it's that time that.
I don't want that.
Executive meeting on the second Wednesday of the month, which is usually when we have work sessions. So when we switched that over a year ago, I couldn't go. And then the council has the representative meeting.
On Thursday.
I think it's the fourth Thursday, and I do go to that. I haven't gone in the last 2 times. I think at last maybe 3, because I've had other things.
I just wondered.
So I usually send a very quick email to Debbie and David of the council.
I wonder if we should send it. What?
Thanks.
Hearing.
Thank you. I really do need to go because especially we've got a lot going on in that center and I'm sure people want to know what's happening. So, yeah, I'll make it a point. Nice to be missed.
Yeah.
Did you see today that they are having the Pima County Council on Aging at their office one time a week? I got it in an email from them on Wednesdays.
We usually advertise stuff like that, you know, as a community service, but I don't know that we did this time.
It just came out today, but if you get a chance, it's really a good thing for people to know about. They don't have to go all the way to Tucson.
Absolutely. And that was the C of the Green Valley Council was.
Yeah. It's a new partnership that they have, so once a week. Stays from 8:30 to noon.
Tomorrow, so I'll see if I can narrow it off. Have communication staff reach out to GVC and 2 minutes,
One.
1 minute.
Hello
I'm
again.
looking up there. I'm looking up
Well,
there.
that's
Yes. Right.
I guess I don't need this. I'll just watch that. Okay. So it is 2:00, so we'll call this meeting to order. April, if you'll read the roll call, please.
You bet. Kathy
Here,
Candy here. April here. Nellie,
Here,
Bart,
I was gonna be absent.
Steve,
here.
Dave.
Here.
Beth,
Here.
Marge. Absent. Bev,
here,
Lanny,
Here.
and Scott.
Here.
Thank you, and so we have a quorum. Does anybody have an amendment to the agenda? Either a motion for that or if there's no amendment, if someone could give me a motion to adopt the agenda? Andy?
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Okay,
Second.
April, thank you. All those in favor to adopt the agenda, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
hey, my hand is
No.
up.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
See the little hand.
Just so everybody knows, Nellie is on the board and she is not able to get audio. So Nellie, if you have something that you want to say, you're just going to have to shout it out. 'Cause I
okay,
can't
thank
see
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so president's report. The only thing actually that I have to mention is that Barbara Blake has resigned from the board of directors, and she has moved and is no longer in a GVR home. But I would like to just say that Barbara has been an excellent board member for the members of GVR. And that we will miss her. This was her last year, so it's just a portion of the year that she will be gone. And Beth Dingman was next on the list to take a position should it come up. And so Beth is with us and she is on audio with the Zoom. Also would like to thank the audience people for coming and joining us for the meeting today. And with that, I'm going to move on to Scott for his report.
All right, thank you, Madam President. A couple items. The big one is that there was a flood at the Desert Hills Fitness Center. I think most of you are aware of that. We've put it out on our website. Some people may not have been aware of it, but there was a leak in the kitchen above the fitness center. It was a rubber hose that went to an ice machine that got old and cracked and created the flood. So believe me, we've added that as part of our routine maintenance, inspecting facilities going forward. Who would have thought a little hose could create such a disaster? But anyway, we are having to do a bit of work in the fitness center. We have to remove and replace some of the ceiling sheetrock as well as some of the insulation. The restoration work started today. We're planning to wrap that up on the 6th of June. At that time, we're going to go in with our own staff and steam clean the carpets and put the equipment back where it's ready to go. So it should be ready hopefully within the week after that. And our apologies that something like that happened. It was a lot more water than I think what most people would have expected, but the video wasn't great. The Santa Rita Springs parking lots are being resurfaced, which means the sinkhole that's in that parking lot is finally being repaired, along with the parking lots being resurfaced. The pool and the fitness center will be closed at that time, during that time period. More information is available on our website on other things that will be open or won't be open. We're here today to talk about the Lapidary Club expansion. That's exciting. The West Center Artisan Shop expansion project is wrapping up. It should be finished the first week of June. We're going to have new carpet installed. And then the club itself is going to be moving in, getting situated over the next few months. And once they're ready to go, we're hoping to have a nice ribbon cutting where we can invite our board and our members in the club out to celebrate the success of opening up that shop. The metal shop expansion project, which is taking place in the Shotgun Building, on the north side of the shuffleboard court here at West Center, that has been, the demos occurred. Our staff have been in there doing that demo ourselves to try to keep the costs down. Building Excellence is the contractor that is working on that. They're getting the Desert Hills locker room project moving, as well as wrapping up the artisan shop. So they're going to start on that project very soon. I did mention the locker room project. That demo has started this week, and that'll run through August. So that is out for this time. A lot of stuff happening at Desert Hills. The hot tub does have a leak in the auto fill of that hot tub. And so we're going to have to saw cut into the deck within the next week or two and make that repair. So that'll be down for a couple days as well. But we are doing our best to try to keep that pool open. The good news is also we're able to hold our classes in the studio there, the fitness studio, by just rerouting our members and classmates into the back door that rather than going through the fitness center. So that's moving forward. We're able to rehold classes there, so that's good. Kiln room enhancement. This is for the ceramics club on the upper level. The enhancements aren't going to begin for a little bit, but part of that project includes shoring up the joists. And that happens to be right above the locker room. And so as the locker room is being remodeled, those joists too are going to be shored up. Pool upgrades for Desert Hills. We're going to be moving forward with that project very soon. Remember, we weren't quite sure if that was going to be a major project where we have to replace the entire pool. We don't have to replace the entire pool, but we do have to replace some of the infrastructure as well as the pump room. A lot of the equipment in the pump room does need to be replaced. We're going to put something out in our newsletter or e-blast very soon, letting our members know a little bit more detail, but we're expecting that'll be about $250,000 project that will come out of our MRRA fund, which is maintenance, repair, and replacement. Since this isn't a new project, it's a repair and replacement project. That is it for the updates. Quite a few this time, but this is the busy season. We do have quite a few the repair and replacement projects going on as well, but we'll keep the members and the board posted as those move forward going through the summer. And that is my report, and I'm happy to take any questions.
I have a question, Scott.
Sure.
I'm sorry. Santa Rita Springs parking lot. So the pool and the fitness center are going to be closed?
Correct. They are closed from the 17th to the 23rd of June.
17th to what?
The 23rd.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry I left that out. All right.
Any questions from the audience?
I have a question, Nellie.
Okay, go ahead, Nellie.
Scott, the Desert Hills, can you remind me our insurance coverage on that type of project? Is that covered in our
It is
insurance?
covered. I think we're trying to understand right now if it's a flood or if it's a repair and replacement, but that's something that we're talking with our insurance company about right now. But yes, we are quantifying all of our labor and material costs, cleanup costs. We've contracted with a restoration company that is out there today starting that project. So we will be quantifying all of those costs and submitting a claim into our insurance company. We will have to pay the deductible. If it's a flood, it's $5,000. If it's not a flood, it's $25,000. So we're hoping it qualifies as a flood. And a bunch of water pouring into the facility seems to be like a flood to me, but we'll see.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Steve?
Scott, I just had a quick question about the pool expense at Desert Hills. Because of the magnitude of the repairs, does the board need to consider what the options are there as far as full replacement or repair, and maybe receive an evaluation on the condition of the 45-year-old pool and how long we can expect these repairs to move the life of the Desert Hills pool?
Yeah. On that evaluation, and I just off the top of my head, I think we had anticipated at least another 15 years out of that pool, just based on the quality of the shell. The board, I think, has seen that assessment at some point. We had an assessment done of all of our pools, and the recommendation wasn't to change out the bowl of it, but to actually make the improvements to the infrastructure. And so that's what we've done. So to answer your question, no, the board doesn't need to do that unless the board wants to do that. Within your policy, your procurement policy and your MRA policy at this point, any type of maintenance, repair, and replacement projects are approved within the budget. We've got a budget of just about, well, you approved a budget of 2.3 million for MRR. But anticipating what's actually going to get completed this next year, we're anticipating expenditures of about $2 million. And so we anticipate moving forward with that without coming back to the board for approval of that contract. We were going to treat it like we do any other MR project. So that could be replacing a roof, replacing HVAC systems, repaving parking lots, redoing locker rooms, those kinds of things. So yeah, I had anticipated moving forward as we do with every other maintenance and repair project. All right. Well, thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Our next agenda item will be committee reports, and we'll start with the audit committee. Bev?
We had a unanimous consent to approve writing a new contract or continuing our contract with the current auditors. They did a great job and worked well with GVR, and everybody was happy with that. We did not want to make any changes, so that's all we've done so far. And you will hear more about that later from David.
Okay, thank you. Board Affairs, Candy?
Yes, ma'am. Board Affairs met 5/13 at 1:30, and at that time, we discussed our committee action plan, which you'll be reviewing later on in this meeting. And also, we have a charge of actually two main things we're working on currently, which is the guest pass policy. We're looking at if we need to trying to make some changes there. And we have a subcommittee that is working on a survey that will be going out probably late June or early July to get member feedback on guest pass policy if we need to change anything or improve on something. And also we're going to be looking at some bylaw changes, in particular code of conduct, member code of conduct, and committee, what the committees are made up of and how people are selected to be on committees. So with that, those are the charges that we're looking at this time.
Thank you. Fiscal Affairs, Nellie?
Yes, we held our May meeting, reviewed the financial statements, which are included in the board packet. And we spent most of the time reviewing the revenue enhancement options and brainstorming ideas for consideration as we go into our next budget cycle.
Thank you. Investments, Lanny?
We did not hold a meeting since the last board meeting, but we have received unanimous consent on our action plan for 25-26, which we'll discuss later.
Okay, thank you. Nominations and elections, April?
Thank you. We held our first nomination and elections committee meeting with me as chair on May 8th. We discussed our priorities and timeline and established the timeline for the 25-26 election series. And we also discussed our committee action plan, and our next meeting is scheduled for September 11th.
Okay, thank you. Planning and evaluation, Steve?
Thanks, Kathy. We will be getting together, Natalie and I, to discuss the action plan and what our agenda will be in our June meeting. And I will have more on that next month. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is the consent agenda, and these are for routine items of business that are collectively presented for approval with a single motion. A board member may request that an item be pulled from the consent agenda and placed under an action item for separate discussion and action. Currently, we have the minutes for the director's meeting, regular meeting of April 23rd. We have the financial statements from April that was presented, as Nellie said, to the Fiscal Affairs Committee and approved by them. And then the third one was the committee action plans. Isn't included in the board meeting packet was the nominations and elections committee, which was added to us when we came in today, but we had discussed it at another point. So it's not a surprise to anybody. So do I have any changes for the consent agenda? Or may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda and the items there?
I move approval, Nellie.
Okay, Molly, thank you.
I'll second that.
April will second that. Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand.
Yeah, I vote yes, Nellie.
I think all but,
I vote yes, Marge.
oh, okay, Marge is here, so. So that would be 9. And Beth, I didn't see your hand, so you,
I'm just going to abstain again.
okay. Beth is, and Bev, I'm sorry, I just saw your hand. Was that to approve or to? Approve. You're on mute. I can't hear you.
Approve.
Approve, thank you. So we have, so we have 9 that approve and 1 abstain, and Beth Dingman is abstaining. Okay, thank you. So we'll move on to the action items. First item being the award of the contract for design and build services for the Lapidary Club expansion, and Scott's going to go over that with us.
I am, yes, thank you. First of all, my apologies. In the staff report, we said this was an awarded contract for the artisan shop expansion. Well, that has already occurred. This is not the artisan shop expansion. This is the Lapidary Silversmith Club expansion. So thank you for that. So yes, just to reiterate, the board is being asked to award a contract for the Lapidary expansion project to Rio West Development and Construction, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $850,000 and authorized to staff to expend up to an additional 10% in change orders if necessary. You'll recall in January, the board awarded a contract to Burton and Associates for architectural services for this project. The construction documents are 60% complete. Due to market uncertainty, the architect, along with GVR's project management team, recommended hiring a well-qualified contractor prior to completing the construction documents to assist with the final design, value engineering, and cost containment. This type of project or contract is known as a design build contract, so it's a little bit different than what you've been asked to approve in the past. The contract is being asked to award to Rio West, who is a contractor, a local contractor here in the Tucson area. Their proposal includes the lowest costs for labor and for profit, and therefore most of the budget would be focused on the construction project itself. The architect and staff therefore recommended the board award the contract to Rio West Construction. Now, we've invited Richard Burton, the architect, to come and explain to the board a little bit what a design build contract is and explain a little bit about the process, the interview process with Rio and some of the others, and why he and we are recommending that we move forward as we are and with this contractor. So I'd like to invite Richard up to the microphone and tell us why we should do this. Thank you.
This is for Richard Burton, the architect, Burton Associate Architects, who've been engaged by GVR to do the Latin expansion project. You've had in the past.
I'm sorry, can he get closer to the mic? I can't hear him.
Was this any good?
Yeah.
You have had several projects that are coming out of bid, which have caused you a lot of difficulty in having to change your budgets and so on. When we were aware of that, particularly with our new project starting, I suggested that we look at a process of bidding, constructing what is called design bid. So instead of having at the end of all the construction documents and all the permitting process, have contractors bid on it, what we do is we have contractors that we interview, pick one, use him as a member of the team being the owner, the architect, and the contractor. And he then monitors our budget. He has his stable of subcontractors that he can turn to make sure that we're not exceeding the budget, that we're staying in line with the budget all the way through our construction documents. Becomes an advocate for the board to be able to keep this within the budget that's allowed. So that's its purpose. We will not get to the end and have to change the permit. We won't have to change the drawings. We'll just be able to move forward. You do not lose the benefit of competitive bidding because that contractor will be bidding it to other major subcontractors when all the drawings are completed. So if his subcontractor is stable, good men, women that he works with, do not come up with some appropriate figures, then the bidding process allows it to be made more public. So what we did was invite 3 contractors to meet with what we call the selection committee. And that consisted of Tom Fisher, Tim Yellock, and myself. We visited with Building Excellence, who we've done work with in the past, we're doing work with now, with Heartland Construction, and with Rio West Development and Construction. We interviewed all 3 of them, gave them a chance to make their presentations, and asked them specifically what their fees would be. This is now going to be a contract that will be based on a fee. In other words, all the direct costs come to you, and the contractor only applies a fee for his product. So it gets rid of all the overcharges and everything. You see, the board is fully aware of what the direct costs are for the project. So we interviewed based on that, and based on reputation, and based on availability. And it was our recommendation, and we now recommend to you that you award the contract to Rio West Development and Construction. If there are any other questions about that, it might be a little complicated, but hopefully I can answer any questions you might have.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Members, any questions? How are we? I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Tom Yelica. Tom is one of our project managers, and he's waiting in the audience. Tom Fisher is our senior project manager, and he is out this week, but Tim has been very helpful. Did I call you Tom Yelica? Yeah. Tim Yelica, I'm so sorry, has been really helpful with his project, so thank you. All right, board, any questions? How would you like to proceed?
I have a question. Are we going to be doing a lot of our bidding using that process? No?
This process, you mean going for the future projects? You know, it's very possible that as Mr. Burton said, that some of our projects have certainly come over bid recently. We've been fairly successful with some of them. We didn't follow this type of process when we did the artisan shop or the metal arts shop. They were much smaller in scope and size. The next very large project on the horizon is the expansion of the wood shop.
Yeah.
And so it is very likely that that will be our recommendation, that we follow that process for that as well, so that we can get a contractor on early, so that they can help value engineer as we're going through. Instead of bringing them in kind of at the 11th hour, this brings them in earlier so that they can help for cost containment.
Thank you.
Beth?
Yeah, I don't quite understand this, when you said, budget, more of the budget focused on construction project itself. I guess I just don't quite understand it, because it seems like in the end, you would have the same result, right? I mean, the end, they would build it to your specifications, and that would be the same as any company would do that. So I'm trying to understand what that means.
It would, and I might have to rely on Tim and Richard for this, but basically, if you're looking on page 27 of your packet, there is a table at the bottom, a chart, and you can see where we're talking about labor costs. You can see Rio West's construction labor costs are lower, and then there's a profit, which is a percent of the total cost minus the labor costs. Those two combined, subtracted from the total budget of 850,000, show the amount of dollars left to go towards the project. This really essentially means that their profit and their labor costs are less, and that's one of the reasons they were selected.
Right, okay, but it still doesn't make any sense exactly, but.
And would probably get the same result, but I think the recommendation is based on the fact that we would get more in potentially higher quality, more material and supplies going towards the project than more of that percentage going towards labor and profit.
Okay. Any other questions from board members? Steve?
Yeah, I see that the lapidary project's going to take over a 2-year period. And I just wanted to ask the question, if we exceed the 10% overage because of tariffs and other inflationary measures, is there any protection in the contract for GVR? Or are we on the hook for all these additional expenses?
Sure, Burton's gonna speak to that.
The contract is involved, right? As soon as you approve the contract is going to be involved. So he'll be monitoring the costs, including any immediate costs of change. And we will be adjusting the drawings as we go. So hopefully when the contract is awarded, not contract is awarded, but when construction is actually starting, all of that has been resolved. There won't be the need for extra costs or change orders unless there are unforeseen circumstances as we start tearing that building apart seeing things that may not have been known before. But we should be able to monitor the costs during the whole process of creating the documents.
Thank you.
Okay, if we don't have any other board members that have questions, are there any questions from the audience? Scott's just informed me quite a few of the people from the Lapidary Club is here. Do any of you have some comments you'd like us to hear?
In Stokes, the president of the Lapidary Club, and I think you want my 256-473. And I jotted down a couple of those. We've been working on the project with GVR for several months myself, and Dave Nelson, who's the vice president. I've been very involved in getting our committee together and reviewing what progress we're making. And one of the things that I'd like to mention, in getting a lot of this work done up front, working with Richard Burton and his team, we eliminate a lot of revisions, updates down the road. So we've established in advance what needs to be accomplished in the building. And I spent 30 years of construction, and one of the things that we never wanted was a set of drawings that came back and said revised and resubmit. Because that just expands the process. So we were working with Richard and with GVR to try and eliminate that and get this project on track and get it started and going. Maybe that's what I had to offer.
Thank you, Ben. It really is kind of nice.
Yeah.
If you look at the fact that you don't have to go back to somebody and come back again and again and again. So we're looking forward to that as well. Thank you very much for speaking to that. Is there anybody else that would like to have a comment? Okay. Further comments, and I will entertain a motion. After we have a recommended motion on page 28 that would involve everything that we need to say at the bottom of the page. If that'll help, otherwise somebody can state their own motion.
I move to award a contract to the Lapidary Expansion Project to Rio West Development and Construction Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $850,000 and authorize staff to expend up to an additional 10% in change orders if necessary.
Thank you, April. Do I have a second?
A second.
Candy? Candy English is seconding. So all those in favor of this motion, please raise your hand. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I cannot see Nellie or Marge.
Marge votes yes.
Okay, thank you, Marge. And Nellie?
Yes, I vote yes.
Okay, thank you. So we have an unanimous vote. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, board, and thank you all. Very exciting.
Thank you for the Lapidary Club to hang in there with us all these years.
Yes.
Looking forward to that getting done for you. Okay, the second item on the action items to do is approve a 3-year contract, excuse me, with the R&A CPAs. David Webster, I believe, is presenting that.
Yes, the bylaws require that we have. And over the past 3 years, we utilized this firm, R&A CPAs. And we had successful audits and built a really good relationship. So the audit committee, has did a unanimous consent that we continue working with our CPAs. And they sent us a 3-year, proposal on page 49. And, so that's what we're processing here right now. It's just the approval of that.
Okay, I think that actually, David, is on page 48. And then the contract is on page 49.
Okay, so we have also on the program, it's really, we got a good relationship with the modern we do. It's really helpful because we utilize them throughout the year. The other thing is it's not a big learning curve. We hire a new firm, big learning curve that takes staff time. So there's a lot of good reasons why it should be.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion and a second? We could have discussion after that, if there is any.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this 3-year
Bev.
contract with RNA.
Bevis.
Bev, you're going to motion? Okay, if we could have you read the recommended motion on page 48.
I move to accept the recommendation of the audit committee to accept the proposal of RNA CPAs to be the audit firm for Green Valley Recreation Inc. for 3 years.
And do I have a second? Then I will second.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. 7, 8. And Marge?
Okay, Nellie votes yes.
Marge
Okay.
votes yes.
Okay, thank you. So we have a unanimous vote. Thank you very much. Item 7C would be to approve the amendment to lease agreement with the GVR Foundation, and Scott's going to take on that one with us.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, and that is correct. The board's being asked to consider amending the lease agreement with the GVR Foundation. GVR and the GVR Foundation entered into a lease agreement in August of 21 for 168 square feet of office space located at the Canoa Ranch Center. The lease was for 15 years at an equivalent in-kind cost of $60,000. No money is being exchanged. That's $6,000 annually. GVR recently approached the GVR Foundation with a request to switch office locations from the Canoa Ranch Center to the Las Campanas Center in order to allow GVR to perform some other operational duties. We're going to be doing inventory control and more procurement out of that office. So it just gives us an opportunity to be more efficient and utilize that space more effectively. The GVR Foundation has agreed to that. The terms are outlined in the first amendment to this lease agreement. Essentially, since the office space is actually smaller at Las Campanas, and to ensure that GVR pays the foundation the remaining equivalent in-kind balance of $35,000, the term of the lease needs to be extended 20 years from the date of the agreement, which would go into effect August 1st. And if you're looking at page 57, which is attachment 2, this is first amendment to the lease agreement. Under, it looks like starting the third whereas clause, you can kind of start to follow the math and how we come up with that to some degree. But it does all work out. Now, this is to avoid paying cash, which we would rather not do. So that's why it's an in-kind equivalent. And we owe them an in-kind equivalent of $45,000. And based on the square footage and the dollar per square foot, it takes the equivalent of 20 years to pay that off. So staff is in fact recommending that the board consider approval of this amendment to the lease agreement. The foundation is fully on board. I know there was a question about what are they going to use the space for. It's too small for them to hold meetings in there. And really, they use our meeting room too for their normal board meetings anyway. So it's really just a supply closet for them.
Are there any questions with regards to this amendment? Candy?
Scott, and they're obviously okay with this since they've signed.
They are,
Agreement.
they are, absolutely. They understand. They're trying to be a good partner and we appreciate that.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I would appreciate a motion. And there's a recommended motion on page 50, if you care to read that. Okay, you guys.
We're like motioning, okay.
Candy?
Okay, I move to amend the lease agreement with the GVR Foundation as drafted.
Thank you, April. So the motion is by Candy English and the second is by April Hassan Hillard. All those in favor of approving the new contract, please raise your hand. And
Nellie votes yes.
Okay,
March
Nellie.
votes yes.
Thank you. So we have it unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Staff appreciates that.
Okay, last item is the Desert Hills One Townhomes CCR amendment. Scott's going to go through that with us.
Yes, thank you. This is the second time that the board has received an item like this. It does seem as if the HOAs in the area are updating their CC&Rs, probably long overdue. The bad news is there's about 100 HOAs in the area, so this is going to be an ongoing thing unless we do something a little different, which is what I'm going to talk about a little bit. But we've been approached by the HOA for Desert Hills number 1, Townhomes HOA. They are amending their CC&Rs, and in order to do that, they need GVR's approval. If you look on page 61, they're amending section 10, which is membership in Green Valley Recreation. If you go to the next page on 62, you can see the red line strikeouts. The second to the last paragraph, last sentence says this section may be amended without the consent of the declarant and Green Valley Recreation, Inc., except after the declarant has sold all. It may be amended by the association with the consent of Green Valley Recreation. And you can see essentially what they're doing is striking out the declarant at this point. The declarant is very most likely the original developer of that particular HOA and subdivision. So GVR still has a say in this particular section, which is all about membership in Green Valley Recreation, and we want to keep that because we want to keep them as part of our membership. But the declarant has been long gone, and so they are amending, as I said, their CC&Rs to make sure that the declarant is removed. The last paragraph talks specifically about Lot 4, which is in their HOA. It is currently used by the Green Valley Gardeners. And essentially, they're saying the same thing here, that the declarant is no longer part of this, and Lot 4 is not subject to GVR membership because it is currently used by the Green Valley Gardeners, and that would be in perpetuity unless the gardeners no longer use that property. If they no longer use that property, then it would be subject to GVR membership. Essentially, that's what that says. Finally, again, as I said, we could have another 998 of these coming in. So what I'm asking the board to consider is authorizing the CEO with the approval of the attorney to sign these going forward so that we don't have to keep bringing this back to the board. It's really a housekeeping item. We're certainly happy to do it, but it's not something that really impacts GVR. So our recommendation is that you move forward and authorize the CEO to sign these with the attorney approval going forward.
Does anybody have any questions with regards? We did this for another HOA not too long ago. I can't remember which HOA it was.
Might have been San Ignacio.
San Ignacio.
I
could
think
be.
so.
San Ignacio Villas, yes.
Okay, so it's something that is probably going to be an ongoing thing. Rather than have to take up time on every single HOA that comes to the board to have it on the agenda. I think it's probably a good idea to have Scott present it to the attorney, and if there's no issues, to go ahead and sign for GVR. So if anybody would like to make a motion? Dave,
Kathy, I'll make a motion.
well, Dave
Think
just
so.
said, Dave said he would, so who's that?
Mic off, I'm sorry.
Who
Moved, I
think it was
moved an
more.
amendment to the covenants, conditions and restrictions. CC and Rs requested by Desert Hills #1 Townhomes HOA and authorized the CEO to sign such amendments going forward, subject to attorney review and approval.
Okay, and was it Beth
I think so.
Beth Dingman that
It
seconded?
was the old bet, I'm not sure.
And so
Beth.
have a show of hands for all those that approve this motion.
Nellie votes yes.
Okay,
March votes yes.
okay, thank you very much. So we have another unanimous. Very good. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
So do we have any member comments? Kim, you're still there. Would you like to talk to us? Okay. Seeing nobody from the audience that would like to stand up and speak, I'll take a motion for adjournment. I wish
I'm-
Bob was here.
Motion to adjourn,
I
Nellie.
haven't even had to have asked.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw somebody's hand up over there on the screen, and I don't recall who it was.
Art's not here, so
I know. So are you
who's
gonna
gonna
do
do
that, Beth?
it? Okay, I'll motion to adjourn.
Okay, Beth is moving to adjourn a second.
I second,
April?
Nellie.
Second. Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. I'm pretty sure we haven't.
Okay, Nellie votes yes.
March
Thank you,
votes yes.
Marge. Okay, thank you very much. This is a short meeting, 2:45.
Happy birthday, Marge.
Yes, happy birthday.
Yeah,
Marge.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Birthday, Mark. December her.
No, you don't want me singing to anybody.
Do it in French.
Okay,
That's it.
see you later.
Adios.
Bye.
Arrivederci.